Oh, all right. Oh, shit. All right, we're back. Episode, I don't know, 14, I think. Today, I just shot it, but like I was turned up. I might keep it, but I'm gonna shoot it again. I'm gonna talk about, uh, the art of being yourself. But yeah, I'm super grateful today. I'm blessed. Can't complain. I think it's important because in my experience, um, I feel like as a man growing up, for a long time I was, doing things that I thought, I liked and doing things that I thought made me me. But it wasn't until I turned like 26 that I realized like, dang, actually none of this stuff is me and all of this stuff is stupid. Some of this stuff is low-key gay. And I don't want to be a part of none of that, And I've came to this realization before in my life. When I got out of, when I was able to leave my neighborhood and I went to the program, I was by myself, right? A lot of time to reflect. And for the most part, depending on your environment you grew up in, young men, you don't spend too much time alone. You don't spend too much time to really decipher who you are, except for when you're a real young child. But then you go outside, you find your friends, and if they doing this, you're gonna end up doing that. And then you find some new friends in high school and they do this a little bit different. So you're not doing it how you did it in middle school. So you're gonna do it like this. Then you go to college, you're on a team now, and it's like, so on and so forth, right? And it's not until like, a trauma or something usually tragic happens that a young man is able to, really sit back and reflect like, okay, who am I? How did I get here? And for me, it was when I was in college and my dad and my brother died, and then a couple of my friends died, and then me and my shorty at the time, we broke up. You know what I mean? That really, made me go through like a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection. I had to sit there and realize like, dang, like, why is it so dark? Why is my reality so dark, but I'm doing everything I ever wanted. I got everything I ever needed. All the dreams that I once had when I was on drugs, I accomplished, I finished. And so why am I feeling this way? And the conclusion I came to was like, I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being Rayshawn. I was doing things, unconsciously to appease the masses, to appease the social crowd. You know what I mean? Unconsciously, I feel like humans want to be accepted. We're social creatures, you know what I mean? And just by being around people, our spirits, our minds, our souls are so powerful that it just takes things, you know what I mean, from those people, from the collective consciousness. No matter how much no matter how old you are, no matter how alpha you think you are, like, the universe is going to do what it does at the end of the day. And that's kind of what happened to me. So I had to take a step back and really decide like, okay, who is Rayshawn? Again, at 26, you feel me? I had to really take a step back and realize like, who is Rayshawn? What is Rayshawn like? And what is going to be the DNA makeup or the external or internal makeup of what Rayshawn is. And that's when it started. You know what I mean? I had started, doing my daily program, reading, writing, journaling. There was no push-ups at this time, but, slowly but surely the push-ups got incorporated, and I was starting to create this version of myself that I truly loved, right? And I looked around and I realized like, damn, I'm not like anybody I'm around the most every day. Like, not at all. Like, I probably wouldn't even associate with you if we weren't in this environment, because that's just how I am. I got no problem being by myself. I never have. I'm the youngest of 9 kids, so I got a real good imagination. I know how to play by myself. I don't need much, you feel me? But at the same time, I've always loved being able to mingle and be around all different types of crowds. And that's what's filled me throughout my entire life. But I'm at this point now when I realize and I know, even though we are social creatures and we are human beings, we're not meant to be around everyone. You know what I mean? We're not meant to be, everything is not for everyone. You know what I mean? And humans have like 12 to 60K thoughts a day. And like, everybody has an agenda. Everybody is, working towards something, right? So it's like, if I got to sit here and think about like, dang, should I be around this person or is this person right for me? Like, woo, woo, woo. that's less time I got to think about my goals and the things that matter, like taking care of myself, taking care of my people, taking care of my family, taking care of my community, right? And the only way I've learned that negates those thoughts and that time in my head is if I'm authentically myself, if I'm truly 100% Rayshawn, transparent. You know what I mean? With everyone around me, whether I've known them for 10 years or known them for 5 years or known them my whole life. You know what I mean? I got to be who I am, who I say I am for myself, right? And I've learned that since when you do this, you know, the people who aren't supposed to be around you, they just don't come around. You know what I mean? They just won't, they just won't do it. You know what I mean? Because they could see who you are. They could see exactly what you're about. You know what I mean? But it's only when you are trying to appease, it was only when I was trying to appease others or be liked or, you know, be the leader of the group. You know what I mean? Thinking like I had to, you know, manage or micromanage or be around so many people because like that's what brotherhood is about or whatever, whether it be on a football team, when I was kicking it with my homies or when I was doing graffiti, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I noticed myself having to give passes or noticed myself having to be around people like that I didn't even like align with, you know what I mean? And since I've been being myself, I don't see myself having those type of situations anymore. Those type of people don't even, like I said, they don't even show face. You know, and even if they were around, they've fallen off. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Like that's not a problem. You know, like the version they are is usually someone I no longer want to be, and the version I am is, you know, usually something they're headed to or towards or something they don't want to be in. That is okay. Like that doesn't mean it's F them or, you know what I mean? It just means like we can't F with them. You know what I mean? And it's a thing I've had to learn. Like loving people from a distance is a very real thing. You know, you can have all the love for someone in the world, but it's like if they're not aligned with who you are and you're not aligned with who they are, you can't be around them. You guys are just gonna have constant headbutts, constant back and forth. It's never going to be a progressive or positive situation. And so that's what you got to give up when you're not yourself. You know what I mean? When you're not yourself, when I wasn't myself, I found myself having a lot of these interactions, having a lot of these type of relationships where I was always like combative and we were always going at it, you know what I mean? But since I've been my true authentic self, you know what I mean? I left all the group chats that you're supposed to not leave, you know what I mean? And I've been truly myself. It's created the perfect reality. It's created exactly the space I need to be in. I have the people around me the exact people I need to be around me because these people are seeing the version of Ray that I am wholeheartedly, unapologetically, and they're choosing to be around me. You know what I mean? They're not picking me because this version of Ray said a slick remark or did something like this when they were around and they like that. So they think, you know, no, I'm being what you see is what you get with me. I'm gonna be the same around my mom that I am around my boy, that I'm gonna be around my next boy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, there's no, like being around someone doesn't affect me or cause me to be a different person. You know what I mean? Like being around someone doesn't mean I got to give them a different version of myself. If that's the case, I shouldn't be around that person. I don't need to be around that person. It may not be forever. It may not be for a lifetime, but I shouldn't be around that person until I'm 100% okay and confident in who I am. You know, and only then should I be around that person because either it's going to go good or it's going to go bad. And that's how I know I don't need to be around that person. So, and I believe a lot of young men, you know, we go through life thinking all of our thoughts are our own, and it usually takes something very serious and significant for us to sit back and think like, dang, like, what was I doing? Because you don't want to ever get to a place and feel like you had no control or you didn't know what you were doing, because that's what happened to me. Like I got to this dark place and I didn't know how I got there. And I realized the reason I didn't know is because I wasn't myself. I was being someone completely different. I wasn't even being Rayshawn Mills. You know, I was being a version of myself that resorted to old behaviors, old character defects. I found myself making the same mistakes that I had already made in my neighborhood and brought them to Kansas like an idiot because you know what I mean? I don't even know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, you know, I wasn't being myself. And I've also learned, you know, like, since being myself, it makes it real easy for me to like, you know, I'm not perfect. I do break character sometimes, but the goal is to never break character. But like certain instances, you know, like treasonous behavior, blasphemy, lying on my name. I know it doesn't all need to be addressed, but like if you were once someone I thought was like on my side, and I thought was like, you know, like one of the boys or whatever, like, and you know me, and you know, and you see the journey I've been on and what I've been doing, like I've noticed like it makes it real easy for me to like nip that shit in the bud. You know what I mean? Like cut it off instantly at the head. You feel me? Like it, and there's no thoughts of you know, shame, guilt, or feeling bad for emotions and nothing like that. I only felt those thoughts and had those feelings when I wasn't being myself. You know what I mean? Because if you're truly my boy and you truly, you know, care about me, like you should be into what I got going on, just like I'm into what you got going on. All my people I love and care about, I know exactly who they are. I know exactly what they're going through because I talk to them and I'm interested in their life, right? Because they're my people and I chose them to be my people based off their program. You feel me? So it's like if you're someone who says you're my boy and you care about me or whatever, and you be coming to me for advice and like asking me stuff or like trying to give me a job or stuff like that, or like it should be no surprise when I, you know what I mean? This should be nothing I'm doing should be no surprise to those people, right? So it should be no surprise when acts of treason or blasphemy occur and I address it because it's evident that's the type of person I am, right? So like if I address something to you and you receive it and let me know where you're at with it, and then we move forward, like there should be no discrepancies about that situation. You know, the only reason there ever could be or should be is if one of us isn't being ourselves. If one of us has underlying emotions, feelings, or beliefs of like, you know, self-doubt, shame, guilt, bitterness, envy, jealousy, you know what I mean? And sometimes those things lay in the subconscious, right? I've been in situations where I've like low-key snaked some of my boys when I was younger, and in my head it wasn't even like that. In my head I was all in my ego. I felt like I could do it, but at the end of the day, in reality, you know, when it comes to, you know, the what's right and what's wrong, you know, I was always in the wrong, right? But it comes down to, again, me just being myself, because like when I've always made those decisions and made those mistakes, I was never being myself. I was running off some information, some misinformation from a misinformed person that clearly wasn't right. And it's never worked out in my favor at the end of the day. Like any snake or blasphemous or treasonous thing I've ever done, the universe has always made me pay for it. Even if like I felt I was completely in the wrong, you know, even if it was in the name of love, you know, like it's never gone in my favor, right? So I believe it's very important for you to be authentically yourself, because you don't want to, you know, you don't want to be in a position where you find yourself giving a bunch of passes, having to, you know, minimize yourself or make yourself smaller for whoever you're around. You know, even if it's your lady or your husband, like if they can't take your true greatness, your true, if you got a big spirit and you believe you can do anything, you need to be that person so you are around the people who feel the same way, or else you're just going to be around people who don't. And the people who don't usually are the people who like are going to hate on you. They're going to backstab you. They're snakes, you know what I mean? And it's never really your enemies. It's people who are your friends that try to that usually take you to that point, you know what I mean? It's never your enemies, because your enemies already know. That's why they're your enemies, because they know they're nothing like you and it's known. But your friends are the ones who like, you know, like they're the ones not being your. Once you've completely been yourself, there will still be people around you that are acting as if you guys are in this together. But most people and some people are only in it for themselves. But at the end of the day, we are in it. And the trick is to minimize that time in your head and not have to decide, is he in it for me, or is he in it by himself, or can I trust him, or, you know, I don't like to have those thoughts. And I've learned that the best way for me to minimize those thoughts and not have to even think about, is this person for me? Is this person trying to snake me? What happens if this, you know, it's just to be myself. You know what I mean? And being yourself in the beginning, it will be lonely. There's going to be no one around. It's not going to be fun, but it's like that's what it takes to really reflect and have introspection and find out who you are, what you like, what you love, and how that benefits you. And at the end of the day, if you're truly yourself and like you're always going forward, and that your thoughts are your thoughts, and that you didn't, you stayed righteous in all your intentions, that makes it real easy just to continue, bro. That makes it real easy to continue and separate if this is a problem for me, or is this a problem that said person has to deal with. You know what I mean? Because only when I haven't been myself have I had to go back and rethink and think about and try to decipher if it was a good idea or a bad idea, or if I should have or should not have. Maybe I could have did that differently or whatever. But since I've been being myself, I don't have those thoughts. I don't have those ruminating situations in my mind where I'm talking and thinking about things I've already done either a day, a year, or a week ago, right? So that's why it's important to be yourself. You know what I mean? It's very important to create the community and the reality you want, and it's only possible if you be you. The lifestyle I used to live before, even just 3.5, 4 years ago, it was great. I had everything I wanted. I was doing everything I wanted to do. Had a beautiful girl with me. I was about to finish grad school. We were about to be in like the fourth round of the college playoffs, NAI. Things were great. But like I felt empty, you know what I mean? I didn't feel satisfied, That's why I seen myself acting out and handling my situation in old ways, because I was feeling old feelings, old emotions, old behaviors, because I still wasn't being myself, right? And like I said, you don't ever want to get to a place and not know how you got there. That's one of the worst feelings I feel like any man could feel, like that like, oh shit. How did I end up here? Like, oh, like what did I do to get here? You know what I mean? And I don't ever want to feel that way. And that's kind of how I started feeling, at this time. It kind of reminded me of how I felt right before I went to the program. I was like, how the fuck did I become a junkie? I'm supposed to be in the NFL. How the fuck did Rayshawn Mills become a junkie? And then I'm in Kansas and it gets dark, real dark. I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, how did I get back here? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's not a place you ever want to be as a man. And since I've been on this journey, like I feel like, and since I've been being my true authentic self, it's minimized those thoughts. It's minimized that space. And it's like I low-key don't even go into that space. And it's very easy for me now to decipher and to understand like why things are going the way they are, or if someone does, something to me, or like not to me, or does something in regards to me, or like doesn't keep their word to me, like I don't have to own that. I don't have to hold that. It's not like they're doing it to me. Like I understand now, like that's a them thing. That's how they have trouble keeping their word to themselves. You know what I mean? It's not, they didn't do nothing to me. Like, yeah, like it would have been cool if you didn't lie or like had respect, but like, I'm not going to hold that and wear that, because like at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me. I know I'm not a liar. I know I have respect for myself, and I know like how I would have handled the situation, and that, I'll never fault a man for not knowing what he doesn't know. And sometimes, especially now in 2025, a lot of these fools don't even know themselves. They're just misinformed dudes running on misinformed information. So that's why I take being myself so serious, and I've loved it ever since I left all the nonsense and all the old behaviors. Like I'm talking like everything that was like even pouring into my subconscious by the most minute form. Like I left all the group chats. Like what? I need to figure out who Rayshawn is. And it's like once I found that out, like bruh, certain individuals I thought were my boys like started doing weird stuff. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like they probably see me as the version that they last saw. Like they don't really understand or know exactly who I am. Or maybe they do, and subconsciously they're bitter, envious, jealous, or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. All I know is I can only be me and continue to be me at the end of the day. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm in a training right now. I shouldn't even be doing this, but hey, all work, no play. You feel me? Even when I'm working, I'm working. I love you guys. I love you. Shout out to everyone supporting. Shout out to all the constructive criticism. I can't say it's negative because my life's too positive to see anything negative. This is episode 14, I think. Shout out to the homies.